So I'm Christine Horton, and I am the CEO of Visura Technology. So Visura is the first and only cleared camera that seamlessly connects to a TEE probe. And if you don't know what that is right now, that's okay. So what we have is something that provides physicians with real-time visualization while they're placing the TEE probe. So it's currently not available. So earlier in this very room, you heard Dr. Catherine Moore talk about how an incision is not an advantage to a patient. Doing something blind is also not an advantage to a patient nor the physician. So I'm just going to pause on that for a second. Right now, this is how a cardiologist places a TEE probe. They don't see what they're doing. So if you pay attention to a couple of slides, this is a really important one. If you don't know what TEE is, I'll get to that in 1 minute. This is a video of our technology, which is the real-time visualization, small camera that goes on the end of the TEE probe. So you can see right here that the physician is guiding a fellow. That's the esophageal inlet. He's going to point to it in 1 minute. So he's seeing what he's doing here versus going blind. This is a very simple and elegant solution. Right there, he's just pointing, this is where you want that probe to go. Currently, again, there is no solution. So we have an essential technology providing this real-time innovation. We are commercial. We commercialized about a year ago. We can be used in ORs, ICUs, and in the procedure rooms themselves. We have a strong patent portfolio. We have 6 patents allowed and issued. We are compatible with Siemens, Philips, and GE. And we are currently working on a device that is compatible with the mini probes that both GE and Philips are coming out with. And we own our own manufacturing facility. There are about 1.7 million TEE procedures in the US. This is our executive management team. And why is this important? Our least experienced team member is 15 years of experience, and our most experienced is about 32 years. Most of us have worked at 2, 3, 4, or 5 companies together. So this is a TEE procedure. Very, very common. Probably most of you know somebody personally that has had a TEE. A probe is inserted in through the mouth and it goes down through the esophagus. And it provides great images of the heart, unobstructed images of the heart. Again, 1.7 million procedures done in the United States and growing at about 10% annually. That is really driven by structural heart intervention. So we all hear about, for example, the Watchman. And if you have these structural heart interventions, then you're getting more than one TEE procedure, very likely. So we look at a $1 billion addressable market, 2x for global. So here's a really interesting thing, and it's not shocking. Again, doing anything in the human body, there is not an advantage, right, to the physician or the patient. But long before Visura came along with the TEECAD system, there was data being published that said there was a clinical unmet need, and physicians were trying to figure this out. They were using technologies that were available to look at what harm was being done, adverse events, things like that. And these are a number of studies that say anywhere from 24% to 86% of the time there were adverse events. Now that's one side of the coin. There's adverse events that can happen. Hematomas, lacerations, perforations, with perforations being fairly rare. However, there's also workflow issues. If I have to sedate a patient more, if I have to call in a specialty such as GI or cardiac anesthesiology or anesthesiology, if I have to push a patient back because they're very hard to get that probe down. Just to give you an example, a probe is about the size of my pinky. That's not small, it's very large. And if you ask any physician that's had to intubate, do an esophageal intubation, they don't like to do it. They don't like to do it blind. I was just at dinner with a physician I hadn't met last night, and he's like, there's always a fear factor in doing that. So there was, again, published data saying that there was a need for having visualization. So this is we commercialized again about a year ago, and we've had no adverse events. and we have great success in intubating. Mayo Clinic has published data for us in Rochester. We're based in Minneapolis, so that makes a bit of sense. And you can go on our website and you can download their first 15 patient study. They've also submitted a couple of other studies for us as well. And I've underlined a few key points here that the TEECAD plays an important role in reducing complications and intubation failure, that the use of the TEECAD was effective in reducing the potential time needed for accurate probe placement. In fact, in their new study, it took them 30 seconds to intubate a patient. That's huge when you're talking about workflow. And that the cost of care for TEs was reduced by using TEECAD. So this is just an example of our CART system, we call it. It's used with some of our customers. We do have several customers in the United States. And it's a monitor, a control unit, which is essentially an image converter, and then our disposable camera. And obviously features and benefits. It easily attaches. There's no modifications needed to the TEE probe or to the machine itself. It's easy to train on, compatible with Philips, Siemens, or GE. Again, we're working on a mini probe ourselves. What are some of the obvious drivers in the hospital? Well, we've already talked about the unmet clinical need that has been cited in publications. It is easy to use and integrate. It is very cost effective, and it has a potential to reduce adverse events and improve clinical outcomes. So we are evolving and helping workflows to be simpler, safer, and more convenient. So we are commercial, which is great. We are in several hospitals, and we're gearing towards increasing our revenue. I know there's no access here, and that is by design, because I'm encouraging anybody interested to come and talk to me. But the blue bar is the carrier, increasing carriers in one of our first sites. The pink is those physicians. So we look at two levels of success. One is carrier usage and utility. The other is physicians that we're training. So we want to increase our patient safety, and also we understand changing the standard of care takes time. Currently, the standard of care is blind in intubation. So we're here at LSI to talk to potential strategic partners. We are doing a bridge round right now, and we are looking to meet with bankers that are interested in positioning the company at some point for an exit. So I'm just going to leave you with this, right? This is where we started. Currently, you can't see what you're doing. There is no advantage anywhere in medicine to not be able to see what you're doing. And what we offer is the ability to see exactly what you're doing real time. Thank you.